Alright, I have a couple updates to my face mask. Since I've been making so many of these, I've made a few adjustments. I did remove the nose piece because it seems that the pipe cleaners were not doing well in the washing machine and people were complaining that they were poking them. So I'm still starting with two 9x6 rectangles of fabric with the pretty sides together. So you're going to start with sewing the long side. So put the 9-inch side and just sew a straight seam the whole way down. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other 9-inch side. So just both long sides. So this is the version if you're going to do an elastic ear tie. You're going to fold it inside out. And then you're going to take the short end and fold it in a little bit so that you can sew that edge together as well. And you're going to take a piece of elastic. I've noticed that for an adult size mask, about 7 inches works pretty well. So I'm just going to cut 2 of those real quick. So you're going to stick the first end of the elastic into the short end near the edge. And you're going to sew that in and do a back stitch so that it secures that elastic a little bit. And then you're going to sew down the rest of that short edge and plug the other piece of elastic into, oh, you can't see that, there we go. So you're going to plug the other end of the elastic inside that short end there. And you're going to sew straight down. And again, you're going to double back stitch over that elastic at the end to secure it. And same thing on the other side. And again, I'm going to put that elastic in the folded over part and back stitch. Make sure that's all tucked in neatly. Put the other end of the elastic into the other end of the mask and hold it in place with my finger. And I'm going to hit go. Sew that whole short edge. And back stitch over the elastic. Alright, and now to make the pleats, I am going to just use my fingers to make a little fold like this. And I'm going to fold it like that. I'm going to pin it down on my mat just so that it stays in place. I'll bring it over a little closer here. So I'm just tucking the fold under and pinning it in place on both sides. And then I zap it with my heat press. You can use an iron, just don't have one, so this works pretty good. All right. And then I'm going to unpin it. And I'm going to put it back on with the short sides. And I'm just going to hold those folds in place with my fingers. You can see that. So the folds are there from what I just did. I'm just going to hold them there, and then I'm going to sew straight down that short side to hold those pleats in place. And that's the end of that side. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Sewing the short side, holding the pleats in place. All right, and then you have your finished mask. And now if you prefer to do the tie strips instead of the elastic ears, then what you can do is make 2 9x6 rectangles and sew both, have them right sides together, sew all along all of these edges, except leave a little piece open, like maybe an inch or two, then inside it out and stitch that little piece closed. So now you have basically like a sewn shut pillowcase here. And then I'm going to make the pleats the same way. I'm going to pin it just with my finger tucks, and I'm going to pin the little pleats in. And I'm going to hit it with the heat press to hold those pleats in place. Just like 5 or 10 seconds is usually pretty good. And I'm going to take the pins out. And then for the string ties, I have been using a double bias tape, and I've been doing about a 36-inch string. So I fold it and find the middle section and put that somewhere around the middle section of my mask. I hold the pleats in place with my fingers. You can sew the pleats down first, but this just saves you a step if you do it this way. So I put the bias tape along here. I've been using quarter-inch double bias tape, but you can use anything, string, whatever you got. And then I am going to do just a quick back stitch at the top to make sure it's really secure, and then I'm going to stitch the whole way down. This will hold the pleats in place. Quick back stitch at the bottom to make it more secure. This holds the pleats in place and attaches the bias tape to it. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Oh, where's my other string? Here we go. So again, fold it in half, find about the middle, get your pleats together, and lay this on top. And then stick it in the machine and sew straight down that side to hold the bias tape in place. And do a quick back stitch at the top and straight down. And every once in a while my pleats will come undone. See how it flattened it in the machine? So if that happens, just fold it over again and stick it back through the machine. Makes it a little thicker, so sometimes it's a little harder for the machine to get through it. That's the benefit of sewing the straight edge with the pleats first before you attach the bias tape, but this is just saving me a little bit of time to do it all in one step. And it still does work pretty well, even if you have to fold it. And then a little back stitch at the bottom. And there you have the mask with the ties on it. Good luck!